Hafaday and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Department of Youth Affairs 2022 Youth Month Oratorical Contest. It is such an amazing opportunity to gather here today to support our young men and women as they present their speeches on this year's theme, Strength in Unity. My name is Crisinda Uggan, Deputy Director of the Department of Youth Affairs, and your MC for this evening. Tonight's event will be broadcasted live on GTA and Docomo and streamed on YouTube and Zoom. Some housekeeping rules: please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate or silent mode. And please keep noise to a minimum. As we begin tonight's event, it is with great pleasure and distinct honor that I present to you a beautiful woman who not only holds the distinguished title of the Governor of Guam, but has many accolades, such as being a mother, a grandmother, a nurse, a 5-term senator, and a former CEO. Let us put our hands together for her welcoming remarks, our Magahagan Guahan, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero.
Thank you, Crescenda. Half a day. I just want to thank the DYA for really doing this great event, I think. And I'm excited to listen to our young minds and to join all of you in celebrating the creativity and passion of our young people and kick off what will be an engaging and empowering youth month. Right now, young people are on the front lines of the struggle to build a better future for all of us. The pandemic has highlighted the dire need for the kind of transformational change they seek. We know our youth must be full partners in our efforts to advance. Brilliant young minds already have played a key role in our pandemic response and recovery, most notably through social impact innovation. Around the world, the initiatives of young people have generated and delivered support to vulnerable communities. Many of their contributions have been voluntary and are symbolic of the resilient future that you are building now. Our young people know resiliency, like their parents and grandparents. They have weathered storms and endured this pandemic. You are the bright leaders for a better tomorrow and capable change makers who are making progress today. To our youth, I want to take a moment to recognize the sacrifices you have made. I know this month traditionally has been filled with many community activities and enrichment opportunities. I know this pandemic has changed traditions in your school and life experiences. I want to honor your experience and commend your ability to overcome the obstacle. This evening and all month long, our youth have the spotlight. You have a message to share, and our island is ready to listen. Students, I encourage you to take comfort in knowing you have prepared. You are original, and no one can speak like you can. I urge you to capture your confidence and speak like you are the only one who could deliver your message, because you are. Use your voice as an extension of your heart and soul. Hold yourself up high and do not draw attention demanded, because it's yours. I look forward to your inspiring words and to working with our future youth governor and lieutenant governor on Island Leadership Day. I look forward to witnessing each of you succeed in your own ways and supporting the value you offer our community. On behalf of your government and our entire island, we are committed to creating the foundation for you to flourish. We are committed to uplifting your voices, and we are committed to helping you help us secure our strength in unity. I am also looking forward to being your shadow, because whoever wins gets to spend a day with me. And I want you to be a part of that and look into what a governor does every day of her life as a governor. Thank you, and Sizus Masi.
Thank you, Governor Liu. Now I would like to call upon Vice Speaker Tina Muner Barnes on behalf of our Speaker, Therese Terlahi, for her brief remarks.
Sizus Masi Kasinda, I promise I'll make this very brief. First of all, I want to extend a very, very big hafa to each and every one of you. Many of God's blessings for all of you being here this evening. Before I move on, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of my colleagues that are here. Legislative Secretary and Oversight Chair on Youth, Senator Amanda Shelton. Please give her a round of applause. Also joining us this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is Senator Sabina Perez. Senator Sabina, welcome. Thank you for being here. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to recognize the contestants. If all the contestants can please stand so you can be recognized from the listening audience tonight. This is being televised, and I want to make sure. Congratulations. Congratulations to each and every one of you, because I truly believe that you're already winners. I also want to take the time to acknowledge the parents, the hard work of the parents. So if the parents can please all rise, because it is through your leadership and your guidance for the love of your children that you're here. So congratulations. Thank you very much. I didn't have a speech prepared for this evening, as I know Speaker Therese Terlahi really wanted to be here, but she had a schedule conflict, and she asked me if I would be honored enough to be here, and I said I'd be more than honored to be here. Who would think, ladies and gentlemen, that 40-some years ago, I was not maybe in this room, but on other places like the governor's office and other places where they had this contest. And you could imagine the tension and the spirit of competition that was there for why I want to become lieutenant governor or governor. And who would think that the theme this year is unity in strength today? And I look at the DYA logo and it says, for a better tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your children that will take over. It is your children that will be the leaders of tomorrow. It is your children that will want to make a difference and maybe even take the position that I am in today and the rest of my colleagues in the 36th Guam legislature. So I wish each and every one of you the best of luck, great success, and congratulations in my heart to each and every one of you, because you're all winners. So on behalf of the 36th Guam legislature on Dunklin Asizuas Masi, and at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least bring up Ms. Kasinda, the oversight chair of the Youth and Senior Citizens, Senator Amanda Shelton, just to say a brief remark. Thank you.
Hafa day, everyone. Thank you very much, Vice Speaker. It's an honor to welcome all of you to your Guam Congress building and to have all of you wonderful students and your families here after a very long couple of years in this pandemic to celebrate this accomplishment that you've all worked so hard for. I know that this is a competition, but it's something that I hope that you will have fun doing. And just like the Vice Speaker, this is a competition that has been a foundation of who I am today that led me to this place, because from where you're seated, I also competed and I got to shadow the late Speaker Ben Pangilinan about 15 years ago. And that was truly an inspirational time for me on Island Leadership Day that set in stone that public service was something that I would aspire to serve our community. And I hope that's something that you will all keep dear in your hearts today, because when I look at you young people, I feel very inspired as well, knowing that you're not afraid of change. You're fearless in the face of change. And that's why you're here, to speak to all of these issues that we're faced with. So whether your passion is mental health, cyberbullying, period poverty, climate change, or any of these social justice issues, we want to hear from you and the change and the ideas that you have to bring to the table, because you have very, very valuable voices and opinions that we can all learn from. So I hope that today you'll bring your very best up here to the podium and share those thoughts with us. So good luck to all of you, and congratulations, and a very happy Youth Month to all of you. Thank you.
I know we all want to get to the speeches. However, I would be remiss if I did not recognize some volunteers who are here today to make all of this happen for us. So DYA has several personnel taking care of important roles in the competition. Our tabulators for the contest are Yvonne Paulino, who will be tallying the judges' scores, and Jennifer Arceo, who will review the raw score before confirming it is the final tabulation. We're all in good hands. No pressure. Kaylee Terlahi and Stacy Ayala, please stand up, are the timekeepers for tonight's event. They will both monitor the time limits of each contestant, and Ms. Ayala will also be signaling the presenting contestant the 1-minute warning. Ashley Bato. Hi, Ms. Ashley. She will be collecting the time cards from the timekeeper as well as the judges' tabulations. She is the event's official tentago. Nicole Leon Guerrero. Where are you, Miss Nicole? There you are. We'll be taking photos all throughout the contest, and our photos will be displayed on DYA's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter social media accounts. We also have Savannah Uggan, a senior from the Academy of Our Lady of Guam, who is fulfilling her community hours service and providing additional assistance when needed. So if you need anything, she's right outside the door. Okay, some rules of the contest, because like any other contest, we have rules. Contestants do not have to wear a face mask as long as they present their speech behind the partition that is set up. Failing to abide by this precaution will be an automatic disqualification. Contestants are also not allowed to use any electronic devices during their presentation. There is a 3-minute minimum for contestants to present their speech and must not exceed 5 minutes. For every 5-second time violation, 1 point will be deducted. Ms. Stacy Ayala once again will signal the contestant of the 1-minute warning via her beautiful poster. Aside from the live audience, points will also be determined by the reaction of the virtual audience, and I ask that virtual audience, this is in reference to the Zoom, to unmute your mic only after the contestant is done presenting. Please be respectful for those who are on Zoom and keep your mics on mute while the contestants are presenting. Your reaction will be displayed on the televisions in the session hall for the judges. Should a tie occur, judges will be asked to select an overall winner, or they may choose to have 2 winners. No pressure, judges. Okay, so here we go. Contestants, this is for you. We're going to introduce your judges. Are you ready, contestants? Okay, let's try that again. Are we ready, contestants? Good job. Wait, oh my goodness, I forgot. And I'm going to say I forgot because I prepared a little thingy here. I would like to go ahead and recognize another beautiful woman who is also a mother and grandmother. Sorry, Gov, she's also a mother and grandmother. but more distinctly, she is an individual knowledgeable in her field as the former Chief Probation Officer at the Judiciary of Guam, and a woman who serves as my mentor and a mentor to many others. Our Director of the Department of Youth Affairs, Mrs. Melanie Williams Brennan. I would also like to recognize the Speaker of our Youth Congress, Ms. Stephanie Lorenzo. So let's go back to where I was supposed to start with the introduction of judges. Paul Tapau is a sergeant with the Guam Police Department and has proudly served the island of Guam for over 20 years. Has it been that long, Paul, since college? Oh, man. From 2016 to 2022, Sergeant Tapau was GPD's Public Information Officer, providing news updates to the greater community regarding GPD matters. As PIO, he has done extensive interviews on print, radio, and video, as well as public presentations at town hall meetings, schools, and faith-based organizations. Currently, he serves as the GPD's Community Affairs Officer, strengthening GPD's relationship and trust in the community. Let's give him a round of applause. Senator Amanda Shelton is currently serving as a senator in the 36th Guam Legislature. In addition to serving as the Legislative Secretary and Assistant Majority Leader, Senator Shelton also serves as the Chairwoman of the Committee on Air Transportation, Parks, Tourism, Higher Education, and the Advancement of Women, Youth, and Senior Citizens. Elected as the youngest female senator on Guam, Senator Shelton has dedicated her career fighting for our island's working families and the underrepresented and underserved populations in our community. Our women, our youth, manamko, and persons with disabilities. Senator Shelton championed the legislation that established protections against elder abuse and sexual assault, and employment and educational opportunities for our youth. Born and raised in the village of Assen, Senator Shelton is the daughter of the late former Senator Austin Sonny Shelton and Grishala Shinohara Shelton. Senator Shelton graduated from the Academy of Lady of Guam in 2008. She earned her master's degree in public administration and a Bachelor of Arts in political science and communication from the University of Guam. Let's give her a round of applause. Ms. Stephanie Lorenzo is currently serving her fourth and final term in the 33rd Guam Youth Congress. Elected as the first female speaker in over 30 years, Speaker Lorenzo has dedicated her term advocating for small home-based businesses, advancing the rights of young girls, and strengthening the participation of GDOE students in school-based clubs and organizations. Speaker Lorenzo is the primary sponsor of Bill number 97-36 LS, which is known as the Period Poverty Act of 2021, which mandates that all publicly funded schools purchase and distribute menstrual products to their students at free of charge. In addition, she has introduced the Club for Credit Act, which incentivizes students to join and actively participate in their school's clubs and organizations in exchange for earning credits that can be used towards graduation. Born and raised in the village of Barrigada, Speaker Lorenzo is the daughter of Chief Stephen C. Ignacio and Betty Jean Lorenzo Ignacio. Speaker Lorenzo graduated from the Academy of Our Lady of Guam in 2017 and will be receiving her bachelor's degree in social work and a minor in public administration this spring at the University of Guam. Let's give her a round of applause. Isaiah Uggan. Hi, Isaiah. He is a multimedia journalist and news anchor with your news leader, KUAM News. He joined the Voice of the Marianas in April of 2021. Isaiah has been in the media industry for nearly 3 years. He graduated in 2020 from the Guam Department of Education's John F. Kennedy High School in Tamuning. Isaiah currently covers the education beat at KUAM, highlighting the accomplishments and challenges of the island's private, charter, and public school system. Round of applause for Isaiah. So the reason we are all here, are we getting, okay, so who do you think are the reasons we are here? Raise your hand if you're a participant. You are the reason why we are here. So let's start off with our middle school contestants. Are you ready, middle school? Yes? No? You got this. You're okay. Judges, could you proceed to the table as I introduce the middle school contestants? So you know you all chose a number, and are you aware of when you will be going up? Okay. So I would like to introduce, judges, are we ready? Tabulators, are we ready? Timekeepers, are we ready? Nicole, you ready with your camera? You need to get this, okay? And parents, are you ready? So our middle school contestants consist of Gabriella Regina Tesoro. Where are you? Gabriella. Hi, Gabriella, please stand. Audrey Sonko. Jonah Cruz. And Cecilia Camacho. All right, here we go. Gloves are off. Let's do this, okay? Our first contestant for the middle school portion of our oratorical contest is Miss Cecilia Camacho. She is a 7th grader from St. Francis Catholic School, and she is ready to start off our competition. Right, Cecilia? Yes. She said yes. Okay.
Henry Ford was a successful businessman. His creation of cars helped to connect the community and bring people together in a faster and more efficient way. Ford once said, "Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success." These inspirational words apply to Guam and its people. Guam is a tiny island in the Pacific. This island is also the place that I call home. Hafaday. My name is Cecilia Camacho. I am a 7th grader at St. Francis Catholic School, and today I would like to speak to you about strength and unity. With everything going on in the world, it is easy to wonder, how will these problems affect our island? The war with Ukraine and Russia could possibly reach Guam due to their close proximity. If North Korea follows through with their threats, Guam may not be habitable, not to mention the environment and how much more we need to do to preserve it. Although Guam is a remote island, we are still affected by what happens around the world, which is why we should help prevent the problems around us. Recently, I feel that our world has been falling apart. North Korea has been threatening to send test missiles to the Pacific. Some missile launches have already happened, resulting in disease among the surrounding islands. The missile launches also result in pollution. Pollution has become more and more apparent. Oil and trash are the most common items for water pollution, while trash is the main source of land pollution. The world is also struggling with global warming. With greenhouse gases continuing to be released, the ozone layer will quicken its deterioration. With all of these problems in the world, it is easy to worry about what may happen to your own home, especially our island in the middle of the Pacific. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine could potentially start World War III. This would become a global problem. Additionally, if North Korea were to join Russia, the missile threats might become reality. Both of these problems combined just creates more chaos and hysteria. While the war is causing turmoil, environmental issues will be lost. Nuclear waste could affect the Pacific Ocean, disease may break out, and nature will be destroyed. This should give us all a motive to help prevent these from happening. At the moment, the US and its NATO allies are doing their best to avoid any violence. One of the ways we can prevent this war is through peace treaties. Admittedly, it is much harder to accomplish. An easier way to avoid war is to end trade, like the US is doing now. Unfortunately, the lack of supplies can or will result in the prices of certain goods to be raised. For example, on Guam, the gas prices are the highest they've ever been. The lack of certain items in stores also limits what we are able to eat. There were shortages of some fruits recently, so I can only imagine how bare the shelves will be once the US starts to end trade with more countries. Although preventing war is hard, ending the North Korean threats is more difficult. We could try to talk North Korea out of it, but that does not change the fact that they could release missiles at any given moment. While all this is going on, we must also try to prevent our planet from being damaged. This is one of the problems that have easier solutions. I know that Guam has laws that do not allow pollution, but they are so rarely enforced. If we make our concerns known to the government, we could prevent pollution from plaguing Guam. Another way we can help to save the environment is to make eco-friendly products more affordable. There are laws saying plastic bags are banned from businesses. Different shops are promoting the use of reusable silverware, cups, bags, and so much more. If we can get the majority of the population to do this, a future without global warming, pollution, and climate change is possible. Guam may be distant from the rest of the world, but what happens in the world can still happen to our island. We have the ability to help support those who have lost things in Ukraine. We have the ability to help prepare for missile threats. We have the ability to restore our planet to the healthy place it once was. We are all able to do something, so we should use that ability to help. Whether it be protesting against war and threats, group cleanups around the island, or simply turning off the lights that don't need to be on in order to save power, what is most important is that we work together to solve these problems. We must find strength in unity so that we are all able to live in this world. Because it does not matter if you live on a tiny island called Guam or a large country like the United States. All humans need each other's support. If we are to help prevent all these problems, we must realize that we cannot do it alone. For coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cecilia. Oh, okay. I think I'm starting to ease up on the nerves. I'm so nervous for them. Thank you, Ashley. Now, let's call upon our second middle school contestant, and that is Gabriela Regina Tesoro. She is an 8th grader from Santa Barbara Catholic School.
Sure.
Thank you, judges. Okay, Gabrielle, are we ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Yes? Okay.
Imagine a world where we see each other through the eyes of a 4-year-old. I have a 4-year-old sister, and the other day we went out to eat as a family, and a little girl waved to my sister. They didn't know each other, but my sister waved back. Those strangers, my sister saw in her a playmate, a potential friend. They didn't see differences, they saw similarities. Instead of seeing limitations, they saw possibilities. If only we could see the world through their eyes, it would be such a sweet reality. It would be a world where racism, hate, and violence were not Google's most searched topics. It would be a world where love and unity are not just buzzwords, but actual ways of living. As a 14-year-old, my eyes are wide open, and this is the bitter reality I see. I see labels that divide and judgments that define. I see greed that turns friends into enemies and families into burdens. Service has become an inconvenience, and goodness is a disadvantage. The world has distorted our view. We see people as objects to be used, and we love objects as if they're people. The rising war between Ukraine and Russia, community fights, and local crimes are evidence of all these. How can we move on from here? How can we choose unity and restore what humanity has destroyed? We have to go back to the very beginning. God, who is love, has created us out of love, to love and be loved. Humanity is at its best when we love. We may have lost our way, but it is never too late. We are not designed to be alone or to be against each other. We are made for relationships and are created to bring out the best in each other. Our differences are not meant to divide, but to complement. In the way of unity, we see someone we can journey with. We learn to rely heavily on each other because asking for help is not a sign of weakness. In unity, we accept that we cannot achieve anything on our own. In unity, we recognize the goodness of others and we see our very selves in the other person. In unity, we choose to see the human person not just with our eyes, but with our hearts. Most people think that the meaning of strength is doing things on your own. But for me, strength is when I share life's highs and lows with people I love most. I feel stronger when I run to my friends for help, lean on my parents for comfort, and turn to my siblings for reassurance. Through my relationships, I become stronger, wiser, and better. This system of caring, this gift of unity and relationships gives me the security and peace that there are always people sharing my joy and carrying my burden, that I'm not alone. So today, I challenge everyone to treasure their relationships, especially in this time of pandemic where isolation, distancing, and quarantine has become our new normal. Go out of your comfort zones and enjoy precious moments with the ones you cherish the most. Eat dinner together, have meaningful conversations, laugh together, and make memories. These are all very simple and practical ways, but togetherness leads to unity, and unity leads to strength. This is what I've learned from my 4-year-old sister. Family is everything. Each person can be a playmate and a potential friend. This lesson could be for all of us too. See each person with the eyes of your heart. See their worth, see their dignity, see their goodness. See a brother or a sister, for we are never alone. Together, we are stronger.
Congratulations, Gabby!
And Mom, Dad, I'm so proud of you,
Moving piece. Amazing, Gabby!
Thank you so much, Gabriela. Let's give a few moments to the judges to finish up their scoring sheet. Okay, so the judges are now concluded their tabulation. We're going to go on to our next contestant. Jonah, where are you? Are you ready, Jonah? Okay, come on up. Jonah is an 8th grader from Bishop Baumgardner Memorial Catholic School.
Who here has heard the term quality over quantity? Anyone? Out of all of you, do you think that quality is definitely better than quantity? Many people say that quality is better for several reasons. One example is buy it once, buy it good. It means that the really good thing is better than the large volume of relatively worse things. But that isn't the scenario of buying an object. What about a group of people? Some people forget that quantity is its quality. Sure, you could have a one-man army, but he is still just a singular person. With the quality of quantity, the one could be overwhelmed. I know that there are several people in the audience who, like me, can cover for others. So I ask, how often are you overwhelmed by the quantity of work? This concept is what makes strength and unity a strength. You've probably heard the famous quote from Henry Coroner, "United we are strong, united we will win." Today we still hear this, even if in revisions. Keep in mind that this originated from World War II propaganda. The Allies were made of many different countries who unified to defeat the Axis powers. The combined force of Great Britain, the Soviet Union, the United States, and many more showed that there is true strength in unity. To quote from Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, "Quantity has a quality all its own." That was all in the past over 70 years ago. But what about now? Today, we are called by all of the local governments to help in the defeat of COVID-19. Over the course of over 2 years, this virus has killed millions of people. This virus is still here because some people still aren't united in our cause of ending this pandemic. With enough unified people, we will have the strength to defeat this virus before it becomes even worse than it already is. Herd immunity is when enough people are immune to the disease that even people who aren't are protected from it. This is a strength so strong that zebras have had a similar way of defending themselves from predators. Let me explain. Zebras are known for their black stripes on their white body. What you may not know is that those black on white stripes are a defense mechanism. By confusing their predators, the injured zebra is lost in the crowd and gets away safely. This is another example of strength and unity. Ants are known for being strong in numbers. They have one queen that produces an army of millions. Sure, ants are small, but what about smaller? As we all know, each of us individuals are made up of even smaller individual cells. This is its own example of many becoming one, but even smaller are the parts of a cell. Zoom further and we find atoms, the smallest things in our universe that still retain properties. But there is something even smaller being combined into a single unified structure, quarks. Quarks are the smallest thing we know, the base of all matter. Quarks make atoms, making cells, making you, making society. Everything as we know it originates from the unity of quarks. Now that we've looked inward, let's look outwards. You make up a part of a unified society, one of many. Zoom out and we see our solar system of planets and a sun unifying to create it. If we keep going, we get our interstellar neighborhood, the solar systems around our solar system. Journey even farther away to find that a bunch of interstellar neighborhoods make one giant galaxy, ours being the Milky Way. The biggest thing we know is the observable universe, containing everything in existence that we know about. Now let me expand on that. Many people don't know that the universe is expanding at a rate that will eventually cause it to end. But this is what makes gravity interesting. Gravity counters this force by bringing things together, unifying them. Gravity has brought us all here together despite the expanding world. The strength of unity is strong enough that a fundamental force exists for the sole purpose of bringing things together. All this talk of science probably made you tired and bored, so let me tell you a story. This is a true story from the trenches of World War I. Christmas was coming up in 1914 and the war was ongoing. Around everyone was death and destruction. But then came December 24th, 1914. Many people from along the Western Front called an unofficial ceasefire and celebrated Christmas together. They had a unified truce. On Christmas Day, they even played soccer together. Alone, we devolve into madness, chaos, insanity. Together, there is order, sanity, and teamwork. Without our strength together, the places we live and laugh would never exist. Without our strength together, there would be no cities, towns, villages, or tribes. The reason we as humans have made it so far is because our intelligence has allowed us to work together in ways no other creature on earth could. Our strength and unity is why we exist to this very day. Stay as one true force. Humans as a species live because we have the quality of quantity. In every society, organization, and culture I know, unity is always one of the most valuable lessons taught. The quality of quantity is our strength in unity.
Thank you, Jonah. We're now going to give the judges a few moments to finish their tabulations. How long is the break? Okay, for our final contestant for the middle school portion of our contest, we would like to call upon Audrey Sonko. Audrey is an 8th grader from St. Anthony Catholic School.
Good evening. My name is Audrey Sonko, and I am an 8th grader attending St. Anthony Catholic School. What if I told you humanity was one small step away from achieving a thriving and peaceful society full of happy and loving people? Well, it's pretty simple, right? We'd take that step, wouldn't we? Unfortunately, on the path to unity, the first step is the hardest for most people. However, the development of our island and world depends on this spirit. What we don't realize is that the problems that are stopping us from achieving peace are endless. Let me break it down for you. The society we live in today is very concentrated on the accomplishment of the individual. You hear the phrase, teamwork makes the dream work. But do you actually apply this into your life? We've created this constant subconscious comparison between us and others that creates unnecessary competition. When collaboration takes the place of competition and unity occurs under a common goal, playing off the strengths of those around us instead of preying on their weakness, that is where most growth occurs. We see this in places as small as our classroom during group projects, places much like our island and its various legislatures, and even between nations forming treaties. The legend of Punsin and Fuuna, gods of creations, is a perfect example of unity in our island. In the matrilineal system, brothers and sisters relied strongly upon each other to raise the children of the family, protect family property, and create blessings to keep the family well endowed. They devised a plan in which their supernatural forces would be put to extremely powerful use. The account of their beautiful creation in this world composes one of the most important oral histories of the Chamorro people. We must understand that when we are united with those we love, we can create something beautiful, just like what they did with our earth. My school had the opportunity to celebrate Mes Chamorro this year, and we had several activities, including Chamorro games, performances, animal exhibits, food tastings, and so much more. What I learned from planning this event is that it wouldn't be as successful without all the help from my fellow peers. I'm thankful that our student body was able to come together and enjoy the festivities. With teamwork, we were able to create an enjoyable experience that everyone can remember as we continue our journey at St. Anthony Catholic School. One thing that all of my points have in common is that when the individuals are joined together under the same goal, despite their differences, they can become something much stronger than they could ever be on their own. I hope that I inspired you to make an effort that will allow future generations to create an amazing environment, not just for the people here, but all over the world. I would like to leave you with the words of Mother Teresa. Only unity will lead us to humility, and unity will lead to peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Audrey. What we're going to do now is we're going to give a few moments for the judges to finish their tabulations. Thank you, judges. This now concludes the middle school portion of our oratorical contest. We will be going into a 15-minute recess. However, I would like to recognize Senator Sabina Perez, who's joined us this evening. So I would like to now thank you guys again. We will be going into a 15-minute recess, and we have refreshments outdoor along with water and drink. So please help yourselves. Okay, we can make our way back into the hall so we can begin our second portion of the oratorical contest. So thank you and welcome back to the second portion of our oratorical contest. I would now be introducing the high school judges. As I call your name, you can proceed to the front area. Mr. Johnny M. Silbanus. He is the most senior Foreign Service Officer staff at the FSM Consulate since the beginning of his diplomatic career in September 2013. He is from the beautiful island of Pohnpei and currently serving as the Acting Consul General of the FSM Consulate. Mr. Silbanus graduated from the University of Guam in 2010 and 2012 with his bachelor's in business administration and a master's in public administration. Let's give him a round of applause. Ms. Rebecca Respicio. She is formerly a program coordinator with the Department of Youth Affairs for 22 years. She has coordinated various programs and activities such as the Oratorical Contest and Island Leadership Day. She is currently the director for the Guam Energy Office and is excited to be part of any project or program that showcases the talents and strengths of our young leaders. Aside from official duties, Rebecca is also part of the Sugar Plum Tree Program's Board of Directors and has been recently elected as Board Secretary for Equality Guam, a nonprofit organization aimed to provide resources and advocacy of equality rights for the LGBTQ community and families. Let's give her a round of applause. Mrs. Crystal Paco San Agustin. There you are. She is the Director of Communications for the Leon Guerrero Tenorio Administration. Prior to her work in government, she was a KUAM news reporter and anchor, best known for her cops and court coverage. Crystal has an MPA degree and BA in Mass Media Communications and Music from the University of Guam. She is an accomplished singer, actress, and saxophonist, having performed at Carnegie Hall and the Sydney Opera House. In her spare time, she enjoys performing with her band and teaching communications at UOG as an adjunct instructor. Welcome, Crystal. Vice Speaker Tina Rose Muñoz-Barnes. With 40 years of dedicated service in the government of Guam and 8 terms as an elected official, faith, family, culture, and a passion for helping people are the values that guide the vision of one of Guam's proudest public servants. As a young advocate working to protect the rights of the indigent community on Guam in the Guam Public Defender's Office, Vice Speaker Tina Rose Muñoz-Barnes quickly found that service would be the center of her career. She saw firsthand the consequences of a community that surrenders its most vulnerable citizens to drugs, crime, and economic stagnation. This is why she has been an outspoken advocate for programs that expand the circle of economic opportunity and provides education and training opportunities for our youth. Round of applause for Senator Tina Muna Barnes. Now we are going to the introduction of our high school contestants. High schoolers, are we ready? I'd like to introduce them, and they are Pauline Lujan, Jin Chung, Kate Manaloto, and Kiran To. So you all chose your numbers and you know what order you're going to come in. Are we ready to start this? Yes? Okay. Jin Chung, you are first. Jin Chung is an 11th grader from St. John's High School.
United we stand, divided we fall. It is a motto that raised morale in the heat of World War II, an age when the Allied nations fought united against the Axis, the forces of tyranny and of darkness. On June 6, 1944, more than 350,000 soldiers, representing a grand sum of 12 nations, landed collectively upon the shores of Normandy, facing certain danger, yet storming ahead toward hope and liberation. The smell of sulfur filled the air, the cacophony of artillery shells, deafening. They saw, amid death and destruction, a common enemy. Their selfless sacrifice, their bravery, their heroism had been forged in the scarring flames of war. Together, they devoted everything in unity toward a common cause to repel the greatest threat of their generation. Today, we too face such daunting evils on a personal, local, and global scale. Yet the spirit of unity, which defeated the Nazis all those years ago, seems to be missing in action, diluted by division, greed, and apathy. Indeed, in the age of now, unity is non-negotiable. When the fate of our planet, the cradle of all civilization, is threatened by climate change, when the politicization of the COVID-19 pandemic has claimed millions of lives, when power-hungry dictators wage war and commit atrocities upon the global stage, the strength of unity is no longer a luxury, but a necessity to carry mankind from this era to the next. Yet no degree of agreements by nations, no number of pages of signatures on parchment, no number of handshakes by the elite will remedy the fundamental disunity in society. For how can we expect world peace when we cannot achieve peace in the neighborhood? How should we save the 7 seas when our beaches are scattered with cigarette butts and plastic bottles? How would we expect to get through the pandemic when there are still segments of the population that are unwilling to be vaccinated after more than a year? The true strength and unity begins not in businesses or leaders, but in us, the common people, the average Joe or Kim or Cruz next door. Unity is not some far-off philosophical ideal, but is as close as the air around us. Not the sun, but rather the sunlight. Not in the drone of distant thunder, but in the thump of a heartbeat. Not in the brilliance of the stars, but in the glow of the soul. It should be omnipresent wherever humanity lives and breathes. In America, on Guam, and at home, unification is a responsibility we collectively share. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. When the founding fathers laid out the blueprints for our nation, they saw that our strength from the beginning had been in unity, not only of the 13 states, but of we, the people, the sinners and saints, the old and young, religious and secular, the rich and poor, Republican and Democrat. These labels, useless, divide us into categories, mean nothing in the face of brothers and sisters, of friends. Here, standing in the way of unity, of universal friendship, is a notion within the minds of some people that Guam is irrelevant. that we are too small to make a difference upon the world stage, and that we should just stop trying. It is untrue, as the actions of every individual contribute to global unity. It is unhelpful, as it serves to discourage instead of encourage. It is vile, as it promotes disunity and complacency instead of commitment to activism and change. We find strength in unity when volunteers feed the homeless. We find it in the worship at our local churches, and after that, we find it in the joy of the fiesta. We find it in the groups of students working together to clean our beaches under the blistering morning sun. If we can take the unity displayed on the beaches of Normandy back home to the beaches of Toulon, then surely the indomitable human spirit will overcome any obstacle. For just as every footstep on Normandy's shore echoed into the future of man, so will every act of kindness, of compassion, of humanity contribute to a better today. Today, I am reminded of the words of our late Governor, Ricardo Bordalio. His vision for our island is as relevant today as it was then. A community where the dignity of each individual will reign supreme, where the traditional human values we hold as Guamanians and Americans underscore the lives of the people, where the acts of caring and sharing which characterize the old Guamanian society will once again form the pattern of living. Now, while not all of us in this room, myself included, are related to those soldiers at Normandy or Governor Bordalio by blood, collectively we find kinship in spirit. Just as they had resolved to fight or united on the beaches for the liberty we enjoy today, it is our duty to continue the legacy of liberators and to fulfill Bordalio's vision. The strength of unity is as crucial now as before, for the fight is not over yet. Not yet. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Jen. Now a few moments for our judges. Okay, thank you. Now we would like to call upon Kieran Toh. Kieran is a 12th grader from Father Duenas Memorial School.
Liberty is to faction what air is to fire. James Madison wrote these words in Federalist Number 10, advocating the importance of factions in democracy. Madison argued that government restrictions of factions is not a true democracy and that freedom sustains our nation. While Madison did write that factions divide us and turn people against one another, working as a collective allows us to get things done. Today, our political system has vastly developed since 1787, and we are still seeing factions or political parties continue to separate us, leading to hyperpolarization in politics. Currently, political polarization is at an all-time high, and party lines have been strengthened. Liberals support almost everything the Democratic Party supports, and conservatives support almost everything the Republican Party supports. With this model of government, it has become increasingly difficult to function as a society when politics are so divisive. We have turned against one another, and our house is divided amongst itself. Hillary Clinton once said, "We must fight inequality and create opportunity in our time, not just for some Americans, but for all Americans." How do we solve this issue? Bipartisanship is defined as working together amongst the two political parties. There are many bipartisan solutions to problems our society faces today. For example, President Joe Biden's Build Back Better bill is a bipartisan infrastructure that affects the lives of every single American, including our own people. In fact, the 36th Guam legislature unanimously passed a bipartisan resolution supporting this bill. As we progress forward into this century, as our island community changes, and as politics becomes increasingly important in society, there is no place for extreme polarization in Guam. It is imperative that we put our differences aside and work together towards a common goal, working to create a more perfect union. Even as we grow more independent through ethnicities, genders, sexualities, and colors, it is important to understand that we all have something in common that unifies and strengthens us. We live and are protected under the same Constitution. But where do we look for strength, and who do we trust to help us? We must look to one another, think about what we can do for each other and society, and work together. Our issues that we face affect us all, so it is only right for us to work on those issues together. Besides, this is the government our founding fathers envisioned. During the pandemic, when we were at home and isolated, we found solace in knowing we were not alone in our struggles. Despite the past 2 years of setbacks, we were able to come together as one. We were comforted by the unified effort of our community and government, and we became stronger through it all. This is a testament to the resilience of Guamanians. In her poem to the nation during Joe Biden's inauguration, Amanda Gorman said, "If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy." When we work together and unite, we can achieve anything. As the problems our island faces only worsens, it is important to understand. Thus, if there is ever a time to unite and stand as one, it is now. This cooperation and collaboration turns polarization into love. Love for the island we call home, love for the nation, and love for democracy. By doing this, we are laying the foundation for the next generation as we write the next chapter in history. As a society, we need to be more open to the ideas and opinions of one another and collectively put our action to work. If we can do this, then we are on the right track to unifying our island. Through this, we find strength in unity despite the adversity in our midst. As Guamanians, we must not find what makes us different from one another and leverage that to get what we want. Instead, we must look to one another. Instead, we must capitalize what we have in common to reach Inafimaulik, not just for ourselves, but for our future generations as we build a better tomorrow. Strength and unity. Sidzu Usmaasi.
Thank you, Kieran. Now a few moments for our tabulators. Okay, our next contestant is Kate Manaloto. Kate is a 9th grader from Academy of Our Lady of Guam.
Ode to Joy. Being the 4th movement of Ludwig van Beethoven's 9th Symphony, it is considered one of the greatest works in Western music. Not only is the composer recognized for his classical genius, but Ode to Joy is credited for representing historical events, particularly those demonstrating unification. For example, Beethoven's music was first introduced in Japan by German prisoners of war. These prisoners were given the freedom to complete mundane tasks. In essence, they were not treated in a way you would expect. It was on June 1st, 1918, that the very first Beethoven concert was performed by the prisoners for the Japanese army. Touched by the universal brotherhood between two opposing forces, the people of Japan allowed this makeshift concert to become an annual tradition. Today, a choir of 10,000 individuals, both professional and amateur singers, join together and perform Ode to Joy on the first Sunday of June. This was an extraordinary demonstration of unity that transpired during the adversities of World War I. Strength in unity is clearly more than an expression. Don't get me wrong, we aren't limited to Beethoven when it comes to a national display of unity. The 2017 Women's March in Washington, D.C. became the largest social demonstration in United States history. Inspired by the march, thousands of unplanned sister marches emerged across the globe. During her speech, Gloria Steinem stated, "We are linked. We are not ranked. And this is a day that will change us forever because we are together." Protesters continue to voice their support for women's rights, criminal justice, and so much more. People were feeling inspired, left and right. Soon enough, millions were united under the same cause. An estimated 4.6 million people attended in the US, while global support reached about 5 million participants. All of this took place in one day. What about personal unity? Most goals are inherently achievable on your own. However, some aren't. It's okay to admit that. Teaming with others can make the impossible seem possible. Between a group of people, there is trust, there is cooperation, and there is mutual respect. Admittedly, these things are not easy to achieve. There is no such thing as a perfect team. Along the line, there will be disagreements. There will be conflict. However, learning to overcome these things is simply part of unification. If you come across an individual who counters your statement, put yourself in their position. Understand why they think the opposite way and validate their opinion. Once you've acknowledged their perspective, come up with a compromise that appeals to everyone in your party. In doing so, you will establish that necessary level of trust and respect. Unity, be it personally or politically, cannot exist until we allow it to. The efforts we accomplish together is the strength in unity. Living in a society filled with people pinning prejudice on one another, we often forget about the strength in our unification. As a school, as a people, as an island, we forget the strength in our unification. We are responsible for making changes. A training module penned by Halford Edward Lukács states that no one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it.
Thank you, Kate. We'll now give a few minutes to the judges. Now we would like to call upon our final contestant for the high school division, Pauline Lujan. Pauline is 11th grader from John F. Kennedy High School.
Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." In my hand, I have a toilet paper tube. This is made of cheap cardboard and is relatively weak when you compare it to other materials such as aluminum or steel. Now imagine that this roll represents a person, any person. Maybe you, maybe your friend, or a family member. Just think of this tube as a person. Now imagine that this notebook is a struggle. You can see that with the right balance, this tube can handle the weight of the notebook well. But if I had another notebook, it falls. Now imagine what would happen if we had two people. It holds a little more before falling once again. Sorry. Now, what if we had three people? Imagine how many struggles we could put on three people. How many struggles can we place on the shoulders of those people until they collapse? I don't have enough notebooks to demonstrate how much more this group of people can handle, but it just goes to show you that the more people that can come together, the more they can bear. There's a scientific explanation for this. When the weight of a notebook is placed upon a single tube, the mass is only supported by that one tube. However, if you place more tubes under the notebooks, the weight is distributed between them. The more tubes, the less each has to carry on its own. It is the same with people. The more people that come together to handle a struggle, the less it weighs on each person. It's why you're told to lay down in a falling elevator. It is why there are 6 pallbearers at a funeral. It is why Po from Kung Fu Panda still needs the Furious 5 when he is the legendary Dragon Warrior. It is why you can't play football without a team. It's why doctors need nurses and concrete needs rebars. We're taught from a young age to be independent, to learn how to be on our own and how to survive on our own. But even the strongest animals cannot do that. Take lions, for example. They hunt in prides and support each other so they all survive. So why are we expected to carry all of the burden ourselves? Yes, it is good to be strong and independent, but even the strongest lion cannot survive without his pride. There is no one to help or carry the weight of the burden. Sure, you reap all the benefits, but at what cost? There's no one to help you when you're down, no one to call when you struggle. I realize that most of us are aware about the conflict in Ukraine, and we know how Ukraine's military is inferior to Russia's. So, how is Ukraine not collapsed with everything that is going on? It is because they have banded together as a country in order to fight back. Not even a world power can break a country's spirit, strength, and passion. And what is a country if not a community? It shows that they care about each other. They are so united that they are fighting back against someone much more powerful than them, and yet they still stand. Imagine if they just gave in. Imagine how quickly they would have fallen if they were all running for selfish reasons. The damage shown in their capital, Kyiv, is unthinkable, but they stand. We need to have this strength not only in our communities, but in our island. We need that strength, that passion that'll keep us afloat if our ship becomes capsized. We need to be united if we want to have a chance at keeping up with the rest of the world. We can do so much for this island if we just come together and fight for what is right. We can push for more accessible health care, especially in the pandemic. We can strive to become more economically sufficient on our own without the need for tourism. We can be the example set for peace and love in this world. It is not easy to unite despite our differences, but it is also not easy to be at the top. Rome wasn't built in a day, nor was it built by just one person. We need to band together and hold our society up to a higher standard. We need to all become pillars of society so that our island, our world, becomes so supported that if someone falters, we can pick them back up with no problem. Strength and unity is not just physical. It is mental and emotional. It is rooted in the hearts of the people, the fire in their souls, their nature to do good in this world. We can never give each other up, never let each other down. We must never turn around and desert each other. We are one island, one community, and one world. But if we want to keep progressing, we need to become a family and a team. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline. Now a few moments for the judges. as we are waiting for the tabulation to be completed, we'd like to call upon all the contestants and the alternates. So when you hear your name, please come up and receive a certificate of recognition. Yes, I am. Yes. This certificate of recognition is in recognition of your participation in the Department of Youth Affairs Oratorical Contest 2022 and your presence in celebrating the empowerment of young people during Youth Month. This special opportunity and time is reflective of the power of young people and the significant privilege of utilizing their unique and singular voices. For over 2 decades, the youth of Guam have graced this platform and positioned themselves as leaders in our island community. Your inspirational performance in this annual endeavor is most honorable and appreciated. Together with the Lieutenant Governor, Joshua F. Tenorio, Segundo Magatlahin Guahan, and on behalf of the island and people of Guam, Governor Lulian Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Joshua F. Tenorio duly extend their highest commendations, presented on this 4th day of April 2022. So in no particular order, Cecilia Camacho. When you get your certificate, just go ahead and stand alongside Director Brennan. Justine Chu. You can stand up here, sweetie. Yeah. Jin Chung. Sophia Torcelino. Andy R. Kanata Jr. Alexander Alam. Kieran Toe. Joanna Laguatnia. Pauline Lujan. Kate Manaloto. John T. Moore. Jonah Cruz. Arjelin Balakbagan. Anna Marion Rice. Audrey Isabel D. Sanko. Gabriela Tesoro. Thank you again for your hard work and your participation in tonight's contest. We can go ahead and get a photo op. could we go ahead and get Vice Speaker, Senator Shelton, Senator Sabina, and Stephanie Lorenzo. Thank you all. Please go ahead and proceed to get your bags, little gifts. In a few moments, we will be announcing our winners. Okay, who's ready to hear who has won this evening? Are you sure you want to know who won? Okay. I do too. Are we ready? You do? Good job. How did the calculator work for you? I know we all want to know who won. I mean, obviously it is a competition. But I know that the minute we hear the winners, we're all going to be excited, and then we probably wouldn't be able to regroup as we need to. So before we end this wonderful evening, I would be remiss to not introduce another amazing person who is continually taking on task after task and always putting her best foot forward. She is the epitome of someone who strives to always do her best and presents her work as so. This woman has repeated the efforts in almost single-handedly coordinating Youth Month and all that it entails, to include tonight's special event. So let's put our hands together, loud and proud, in recognition of our one and only Danielle Camacho from the Department of Youth Affairs. The beauty about being voluntold to MC is that I have the mic. So you, my darling, are our prized possession. Thank you again, Danielle, for your hard work. So here we go. In the middle school division, the winner of the middle school division will have the opportunity to shadow our Lieutenant Governor of Guam on Island Leadership Day. Further information for that day will be forthcoming, but it's going to be an exciting time. So, our runner-up is, for the middle school division, Audrey Sonko. Audrey is an 8th grader from St. Anthony Catholic School. Come up here, Audrey. And the winner for the middle school division and the opportunity to be Lieutenant Governor for the day is Gabriella Tesoro. Gabriella is an 8th grader from Santa Barbara Catholic School. Just to let you know, normally Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenora would be with us as he has been with us for years past. However, he's doing his duty off island. Now, on to high school. Our runner-up for the high school division of our oratorical contest is Jin Chung from St. John's. Thank you, Jen. And now, our winner of the high school division, who will be alongside Governor Lulian Guerrero, actually taking your place for the day, right, is Kieran Toe. Kieran is a 12th grader from Father Duenas Memorial School. So thank you, everybody, for a grand, grand evening. Congratulations to our participants, our families, our guests, our judges, and volunteers. So have a very, very wonderful evening and stay safe. Now we can take the opportunity to get some photos.